Joy. Oh, man, it's so fun. Today is a fun day. Tomorrow's going to be a fun day. We're going to have some fun days. We haven't had an outlook of fun days for a while. Not at least in this context.
Right. Yeah, I think the fun days will start today, a little bit yesterday, although we were very tired.
Oh, man,
today,
so tired.
And then through, I would say, like 2028.
Yeah. Just put it on the next calendars. You're making your Christmas calendars for grandma and mom out there.
Yeah.
Just put smiley faces on all the days.
Brad's about to say something. No. Don't ruin it.
I cannot think of how excited. I can't express how excited I am about this because this is different. This is a sea change in my radio career.
Yeah, you've only lived in the Biden years.
The quote-unquote resistance.
The dark ages. Yeah, exactly. Well, it's about to get exciting. And also, the Republicans need to understand that they have a job to do. You got this far, but the work really begins now. And we want to know how you feel. 314-241-9797. We have a full board of phones right now. I'm going to try to push through and get through as many people as I can. So I'll put you on the air. I'll let you say what you got to say and keep moving so we can get as many people, get your voice on here because you guys are what's most important about what we do every day. So 314-241-9797. How are you feeling? Let's start with Amanda. Amanda, thank you for calling the Annie Frey Show. How do you feel?
Beyond excited, like beyond excited.
It's really like every time you think of it, it's exciting once again. Compare what it's like to consume media before Election Day and after Election Day. How have you handled your emotions through this?
I think you guys touched on it really well the other day when you said validated. I feel like finally I'm not crazy. Like everyone else is starting to see and realize the things that we have been talking about and having issues with the last 4 years. And I feel validated. I feel like, okay, yes, you guys are starting to see that things need to change and we do need to make America great again.
Oh, amen to that. Amanda, thank you for listening to us, to the station, and for sharing that with us. We really appreciate you.
You are so awesome. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too. Let's get to Andy. Andy, thank you for calling the Annie Frey Show. How are you feeling today?
Still kind of numb. I can't believe it actually happened. I got real excited when I saw the group that he was putting around him with RFK, Elon, among other, Vivek Ramaswamy, and I just refused to allow myself to believe that it would actually happen. I was so used to getting the rug pulled out from underneath of us when we've been so close to big victories. So happy and numb, but I want to say this about the Republicans. You're absolutely right. They have to get to work. But in my opinion, the Republicans clearly expanded their tent. We got more diversity of backgrounds and races and religions. And with that comes a bigger diversity of thought, which I think that Republicans have been somewhat resistant to. And it's what's kind of held them back in the past. And I think they need to lean into that. And specifically with a topic like abortion, it's gone back to the states. We need to leave it at the states and let the people decide, even if it's not what individually we may want to happen. Let the people of those states decide that. And I think you saw that in the election night when I think it was on the ballot in 10 different states, and 7 of the 10, including Missouri, voted to either expand abortion rights or whatever. And not that that's good. You keep fighting at that level. Just keep it out of federal abortion ban, because it's been a losing topic for them time and again, and I think that will drive people away from the party. So you just let it fight itself out on the state level and just get done with what the people put you there for, which is better economic policies, taking on big pharma, immigration reform, all the big things that he ran on. That's what he got elected on. And let the smaller, I don't want to say smaller, that sounds bad, but let the topics like this that have been put back to the states, let them stay at the states, and people will sort that out. And you just pray that they sort it out how you want to. But let them do it there.
Yeah.
Because I think you need to keep expanding this tent, because people, when they see the economic prosperity, when they see opportunity, they're going to keep coming into this party, and let the Democrats be the ones that are the elites and out of touch.
Andy,
and don't be the out of touch ones.
That is a really great point, because we do need to focus on the economics. It was the leading issue, that and the border / immigration are the leading issues that put Donald Trump back in the office. Americans of every walk of life need to understand that is the priority.
Those are the two big things that he made his campaign promise, that on day one, I'm going to open up energy, I'm going to get this thing rolling again, and I'm going to close the border. That's clear messaging.
Yep.
Trump talks all over the place, but he talked about that a lot.
Let's go to Sean. Sean, thank you for calling the Annie Frey Show. How do you feel today?
As a 70-year-old apolitical independent that figured the rest of my life would be with ideology, oligarchy, and a system based on greed and a lack of humanity. Now this is a big if this person who has now won 3 terms in a row, we know it was stolen the last time, if he exists in the parameters of humanity, excludes all ideologies, red, light, green, yellow, it doesn't matter. We are one America, we are one people, and we are based on it's still a grand experiment, and this is in its infancy. We are only 200 years young. We need someone that comprehends the gravity of what is going on right now. We had a complete, utter institution that attempted coups left and right. Now, we will know in a short time whether this particular person is not a part of the elitist. We can have hope, but everyone has to understand it takes the individual to rise the whole. Freedom is not the herd mentality. Get away from the herd, release ideology, which is what we exist in, and get away from your egos.
Sean, thank you for the phone call. I appreciate it. And I think that the idea that the Republicans have a much broader tent right now is the key to future success for the Republican Party. They expanded the tent, extremely expanded the tent in this last campaign with the people they brought in. If Bobby Kennedy is able to do what he's being tasked to do with, at least with words right now, those people are going to be Republicans.
Yeah, what an interesting, man, the shift in the electorate from this election. If it's permanent, there are some big problems and big discussions Democrats are going to have. If it's just Trump, I guess, we'll see what happens.
Jack, thank you for calling the Annie Frey Show. How do you feel today?
Oh, I feel great. One of the things is with the Biden administration and possible continuation of that with Harris, I spent 31 years in law enforcement and 6 years in the military. And I told my wife on more than one occasion the last 6 or 7 months that I felt like I had wasted all that time with the current administration. I feel great. I feel like we have America back. I currently have a son that's deployed to the Middle East. I had talked to him the last week or so, and they were, I say they, him and his unit, his comrades over there, were all feeling pretty apprehensive about what was going to happen with the election. And I know, having talked to him yesterday, they feel like the weight of the world has been lifted off their shoulders. They're going to be allowed to do their jobs that they were sent over there to do.
That's awesome. Jack, thank you for your family service, for your son's service. It's never easy to have somebody that is serving overseas, but I just can't imagine the pride that you have in being able to say that. So we're very grateful for all of you.
Well, I'm grateful for you people being the citizens that made it worthwhile.
Yes. Amen. Jack, thank you so much. That is something that is worthy of discussing. The people who are in the military right now, I talked to several of them who I'm close to, and the mood in the last 4 years has been like, we're here, somebody's got to do it. You don't want, you can't necessarily just bolt on the thing. You still have something you're serving that you believe in, but you're just like day to day going through all of this utter bologna sausage that is being shoveled your way. It's like, this is not why I signed up to do this. Mike, thank you for calling the Annie Frey Show. How do you feel today, a couple days after Donald Trump wins the presidency?
Good afternoon. How are you guys?
We're doing really, really great.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah. I feel amazing. It's quite a crew that Trump's putting around him. It's such a legitimate America first as a label to have personalities like Elon Musk and Tulsi Gabbard and the various people that have come over who are just looking past the insanity and trying to get to some reason. So it's extremely hopeful for the future. And I'm a little bit sad about our Amendment 3 situation here.
Yeah.
I have the church that we attend, Kim St. Ange and Stacey Washington both attend there.
Yeah.
And I've been extremely disappointed with a number of the Christian organizations or churches in the state of Missouri and their unwillingness to put themselves out there to defend something as easily defendable as defeating that. So that was a little disheartening.
Mike, that's where the mantle has to be taken up. The kindness and the generosity and the compassion that the church has to show the politicians how it's going to be. It's going to have to start there. And everybody who's in your shoes, you've got the right mentality, Mike. And now's the time to put the pressure on, not to say, oh, we lost. This is the time to turn up the volume on it. And it's good to hear you have that mindset, because Missouri has a tall task in front of them. Illinois has been fighting against this for quite some time. Mike, thank you for calling the show.
Can I say one more thing? A little bit of humor.
Yeah, what do you got?
The only disappointment was if Kamala got elected, that was a greater incentive for me to relocate to either South Dakota or Wyoming.
You could still do it, but
now I don't have that excuse. So the debate with my wife is going to get a little tougher.
Oh, well, good luck with that. Although we want to keep you in the listening area, Mike. We like having you.
We're sorry that Trump has caused you to fall into this malaise.
Mike, thank you so much. It's good to have you on the show. Megan, thank you for calling the Annie Frey Show. How are you feeling in the wake of a Donald Trump victory?
Is that me?
Yep. Megan, go ahead.
Okay. Sorry. I'm very excited, and I'm specifically feeling unburdened by what has been.
I know the feeling.
Yes, but I'm also very scared, because as I'm listening to people on the other side, with why they're upset, talking about how they've lost rights as women, and I'm like, could you give me a specific example? Because I don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that there is a vote for women in this as well. When you think about Title IX and men and women's sports, like, it depends on how you look at things.
Like the definition of women, like just the existence of them. That's a start.
Exactly. Because I do think that's a vote for women. And then also, there's a lot of people in the LGBTQ plus community who are, like, losing their minds. And I'm like, isn't Richard Grenell the very first openly gay cabinet member? And
He sure
that
is.
was during the Trump administration.
Sure is.
I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of, like, fear that has been pumped into people on the left, and they truly believe it, so they feel scared, and I believe that they're scared. I just feel like it's unfounded, and I'm scared myself because I know they play dirty, and I'm just waiting to see how they're going to try and manipulate and use government, like deep state, I don't know, like people to, throw up a big roadblock in any of the agenda goals.
Megan, here's what I'm going to tell you, and thank you so much for the phone call. There has been a massive majority rebuke of all of that heaping pile of bologna sausage that we are a little gun shy of right now. We're all in that mental headspace with you, Megan, like, okay, what do you have next? There is going to be a new sheriff in town, and everything top to, I have goosebumps just saying this, and I've been pretty steady on this, but the idea of lawfare, of the bureaucracy in Washington, D.C., we have, in my lifetime, never been in such a position to start fresh than we are right now. And it would not be possible if Donald Trump won in 2020 and had served his second term now. What is going to take place now is way beyond what Donald Trump ever could have done should we all have gotten our wish in 2020 and Donald Trump would have won re-election then. He is positioned now to do something for the country that will fortify what was done almost 250 years ago. And I will add to this. I saw Donald Trump talking. We might discuss this in a little bit later in the show. Donald Trump is going to oversee the 250th birthday of our country.
Oh, I didn't realize
in 2026. And he's already out there talking about having the Great American State Fair. And he wants to put it in Iowa.
Love it.
And he's talking about these plans to celebrate America. And that is a very specific indication of the idea that America should be celebrated. And we are so back. It's so exciting. Those nerves are going to creep in. Suppress them right now. Enjoy the moment and keep pushing through. Let's get to Gary's on the line here. Gary, thank you for calling the Annie Frey Show. How do you feel today?
Hi, Annie. Yeah, I feel fantastic that Trump is back in office. I get to retire at the end of this year. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to with the economy going in the direction that it was.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason I really called was to tell you guys, your crew, you and Ryan and Brad and the whole crew, thank you so much for being here the last 4 years so that people like me had a place to come to in the afternoon and either write in or call in and voice our frustrations or have a laugh or two. You made the last 4 years much more tolerable, and I just wanted you to know I really appreciate it.
Gary, thank you. Because I would say that a lot of times we walk in the studio and the disgust that really honestly does cause a lot of people to say, I'm listening to Keishi today or whatever it might be. You want to listen to music because you can't stomach it. We don't get to turn the station in here. We are the station in here. And it's really important. It's always been really important to us here on the afternoons to try to inject fun in it because it's so important. And Gary, listeners like you who have been supportive, we really don't get to do this if we don't have people out there listening. So it's nice to hear that, but it's really for people like you to help us all get through whatever the highs are and the lows are. And the last 4 years have been difficult, but I think the next 4 years are going to be worth it.
Amen. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Gary, thank you. We appreciate you very much. All right.
You got a joke
You're
to just
welcome.
kind of get through when things are bad, which means that the next 4 years we're going to be pretty serious.
You're a doofus. All right, Wiggins, it's your time.
We got calls though, don't we?
Yeah, we've got three. We have only 2 open lines.
I'd much rather hear from people.
314-241-9797. We have to take a break. Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We are happy, legitimately, wholly happy to be with you today.
I'm joyful.
Joyful. Joy. It's almost Christmas time.
Yep. Oh, man.
Joy.
What a Christmas present.
What a Christmas present for the country. Yeah, quick reminder, 48 days until Christmas. Almost 47.
Oh, let's celebrate tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
How many days until Christmas? Over and over and over throughout the show.
47!
47!
Unless Kamala Harris becomes a president before then, in
Then
which
we're
she would be
celebrating
47,
today.
and then hooray, it's 48 days
48!
to Christmas. We're getting through some more of your phone calls here. I've got a full board of phones. I want to get through everybody, so I'm going to put you on. You're going to get to make your point, and then we're going to keep moving. But we're asking you all, how do you feel now that we are on this side of the election? Let's start with Chad. Chad's been holding for a while. Chad, thank you for calling the Annie Frey Show. How do you feel?
I feel great. I feel relieved.
Yeah.
One quick question. In order to maintain this momentum, do you think that the Republicans should maybe like open like some offices in the inner cities of each city? So, because I feel like a lot of these people are just not educated on what the Republicans do versus Democrats as far as just trying to educate people on that.
Yeah,
But,
and Donald Trump went to those people and talked in places, I don't know specifically detailed inner city to inner city, but he did go to places like the unions, to the barbershops, to the places that are traditionally like, oh, you can't get those votes. And he talked to them and he listened to them and he got those votes. So, Chad, very, very smart point. And the work on that should start right now. I completely agree.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Chad. Thank you for calling and listening to the show. We're grateful for that. Let's get to Chris. Chris, thanks for calling the Annie Frey Show. How do you feel?
Hi, how's everybody doing?
Doing fine. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I feel great. I think this shows that the power of prayer is real in America. I think a lot of people were praying for this. But I just want to say I also am worried. I'm a little bit worried because we haven't got all the results in. And if we don't maintain majority in the House, we could start the whole impeachment thing all over again, even though we have control of the Senate. I just see those obstacles coming if we don't hold the House. And the other thing I would like to say, and I'll get off of here to give other people a chance to talk, is you've got connection. Would someone please put Ted Cruz up for majority leader in the Senate? One of the most constitutionally smart guys we have in there, and he doesn't back down.
You're a Ted Cruz guy. You want to see him lead the Senate?
Absolutely.
Chris, thank you for the phone call. I appreciate it. We should talk. I want to talk about like cabinet and leadership positions and stuff a little bit later in the show. But
before we do that, I'll call Ted.
You go get him.
Yeah.
Make yourself useful for once, Ryan.
I mean, that's a good idea. I hadn't thought about that, but I'll let Mr. Cruz know.
Valerie, thank you for calling the Annie Frey Show. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling awesome. So I actually posted this on Facebook as well. We are now the United States of America. And so people start acting like it.
Yeah. I mean, it's very nice to be able to see the popular vote, which is pretty close. I mean, it's kind of starting to narrow. It'll be interesting to see if it ends up flipping just a wee little bit in favor of Kamala Harris. I don't know that that's going to happen, but there is definitely a mandate out for Donald Trump. And I hope that we all move forward and start showing people why we've supported Donald Trump so much if they weren't on our side to begin with.
Exactly.
Thank you, Valerie.
Well, see, and my very first election was Ronald Reagan.
Yeah? And you feel good about this one?
My first president, and I haven't felt good about voting for a president since Ronald Reagan.
Well, Valerie, we're grateful to be able to share that with you, and thank you very much for listening to us here on 97.1 and the Annie Frey Show. We're really grateful for it. Mark, thank you for calling the Annie Frey Show. How are you feeling?
Oh, I feel great, but my wife, of course, we call our daughter at Mizzou, engineering student every day. And she is very upset, and she was going to have to maybe lay down and take a nap because of her depression. And I don't know what Kool-Aid she's been drinking there, but it's disappointing to us.
What is she worried about? Like, what is her fear?
I think it's all that. Just as you just had a couple callers back said that why can't their friends all the stuff they hear about Trump that's not true, and now they think it's all going to come true, and he's going to do this and do that, and just the nonsense that's out there on the mainstream media garbage, the dictator and Hitler and rounding up people and all this kind of stuff. I don't understand it. I don't know where, that's not how she was brought up. But college just kind of made her take a little left turn there.
That was my question for you. You brought her up? It sounds like you're conservative. Did she become liberal when she went off to school?
Yes, and my the two boys stayed in town for school. Both one daughter went to U of I, one went to Mizzou, and they both turned left.
Wow.
So,
Mark, thank you for the phone call, and tell your daughter that she should listen to our show.
I'll work on that.
Yeah, let her know. Thank you, Mark, for calling. I appreciate it. Let's get to Sarah here real quick. Sarah, thanks for calling the Annie Frey Show. How do you feel?
Much clarity. Just the world felt just like the sun shone a little brighter yesterday.
Yeah, you're feeling better about it. What was it that did you feel like this was going to be the case the whole time, or did it really take that final call to make you feel like, okay, I can breathe deeply now?
Yeah, I stayed awake until about 11. I had to get up early with kids the next morning, and I was starting to feel pretty good. I was like, you know what, I need to get some sleep, and I kind of was like really anxious. Woke up early, and I was just super happy to see that final result just kind of push through. But hey, I also wanted to say I have some, my side of the family is very Republican. My husband's side of the family up in Minnesota is opposite, most of them. And so they're like the past 8 years, they have a family chain on text. They kind of like bash, so my husband and I just ignore it because we can't ever respond.
Yeah.
But this is an example of I was going to read this. like what just to say how they're feeling and if we could ever talk about it. But she said, I wish it was unbelievable, but it's not. I'm not okay. I didn't realize how deeply men's hatred of women ran, that they would choose a literal piece of sleep to articulate reasonable thoughts and policies over a significantly qualified woman whose policies are people-centered. I can't believe how many white women care more about their proximity to power and whiteness than voting in their best interest. And I don't know how to protect my kids. So, I mean, that's just like how over the 4 years I feel like I can't ever respond. Like, are anyone's thoughts going to change if you have that feeling?
I think that we are living in alternate realities from one another. And the truth of the matter is, you're not the number one way that you can convince her that she is completely right is if you attack her. And the heaping of burning coals, if that's a reference that you understand, you can Google it if you don't. But being kind to these people is so important right now, because what she has done is she has thought for everybody. She knows the thoughts that everybody should be thinking, and if people aren't thinking the way that she thinks that they're supposed to be thinking, then everybody else is wrong. And on the other side, everyone else is thinking for themselves and thinking she's wrong. It's because we see different realities, which is why I continue to say, like, call out and laugh at the media that has been the deceivers for so long, because they're responsible for brainwashing people. And the best thing that can happen here is that Trump gets into office, does what he says he's going to do, that we all believe is going to be better for the country. And in the midst of that, they realize, low key, that they may never even admit out loud, this isn't so bad after all.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Hang in there, Sarah. And I understand it's very difficult when it comes to these family connections, but we've got to prioritize things, and we've got to love one another, and we have to lead with love and kindness, which is something that I would honestly say has not been afforded to us in the last 4 years.